Hello and welcome to Movie Film Studios, the only podcast that takes you inside the mind of two film studio executives as we unravel and re-ravel the best that Hollywood has to offer. I'm Isaac.
And I'm AJ, and this week we employed a secret agent to water slide directly into Jeremy Renner's face, all so we can bring you our own legally distinct version. But before we bring you something original, it's time to check in on the last feature film we released in Box Office Report.
Of course, last week we released the film Plunge.
Plunge, yes.
Yeah, it was a...
written, directed, produced, acted in, sets built by, visual effects by 3 actors.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yep. Gary Oldman.
And Natalie Portman.
Yes.
It was a psychological isolation trap puzzle thriller / marriage proposal.
Set in the sewer.
Set in the sewers.
Yes.
How did we go? How did that one pan out?
So the film itself, moderate success. The critical reception, quite high. Not a lot of hits on Mufuzawada yet. I think it's a little bit highbrow for most of our audience who are used to us releasing films like Steel Chalk or Cretaceous on the Seat of Life.
Yeah.
However, the 3 actors who controlled the entire production. So we employed 3 actors and we decided that they would do everything. We would hand over all duties to them. We handed them the password as well to Mufuzawada and they uploaded it and did all that. The thing is though, they've cracked into a new market. A new money-making market that, had we made the film, we would have been rolling in it right now.
Okay.
So, as you're aware, Plunge was set in a sewer.
Yeah.
Now, they couldn't get the rights to actually shoot in a sewer, so they had to go somewhere and build one. So they went to another country, and they built a full sewer system in some random country somewhere. But the thing is, they did such a good job of building that sewer that they've now combined and made a standalone company, and all they do is make sewers.
Oh, right. I mean, I've heard of people shooting in, like, Eastern Europe, like in Bucharest or Budapest.
No, but they couldn't get permission.
Oh, right. So but they actually shot in a poor country and started building
they just built sewers,
infrastructure.
Yeah. So the film itself, moderate success. Their company, as like a sewer construction company, through the roof. They're like, they've hit the stock exchange now. They're raking it in. And I'm just kicking myself that we've missed out on yet another money-making opportunity.
We did a little bit of this with the Apart Square Bracket Ment, where we built the actual Apart Square Bracket Ment.
I know.
Had a reality TV show of the building of the building, shot in the building, and then sold the building off. Are you sure they haven't trod on our own intellectual property in this infrastructure cinema market?
Ooh, hang on.
Because, like, I feel as though we have grounds to at least say part of the stake of this company is ours.
Ooh, this is interesting. We're going to need a lawyer for this.
I think we just leave it then. I think I have such a lawyer phobic now that just if anything sort of comes up, I'm just inclined to back down and go, it's just not worth it in the end. If they're going to lawyer up, then I'm backing off.
Yeah. Look, I wish those 3 actors the best of luck with their endeavors in the sewerage construction game. Yeah. Because,
I mean, I didn't watch Plunge on Mufuzawada. I did stumble across a video on YouTube which was titled The Most Random and Bizarre Wedding Proposal Ever. And I'm like, oh, what's this? This is a nice little sort of YouTube video.
Yeah.
Clicked on it. Someone had uploaded the entire Plunge movie onto YouTube and had rebranded it as a crazy wedding proposal.
So no wonder no one's watched it yet.
I mean, that had gone viral. That had 3 or 4 million views in the week that it's been out.
Oh, okay.
So... and that has. I didn't realize it hadn't translated it across. I didn't realize that our actors had gone off and instead of doing their press junket,
I can see it on YouTube here now,
and just started building their own sewers.
Yeah, and look at the ads underneath the video on there.
Oh God!
What do you think it is?
It's for
a certain sewage construction company. Yeah. All right. Let's get on with this week in trailers. Number 1 off the ranks is Action Point, starring Johnny Knoxville and his ragtag crew of stunt people.
Or the ones that are left, at least.
Exactly.
That's a bit mean. I'm sorry, Bam.
So this is a film sort of in a similar vein to, I think, his last film, which was Bad Grandpa, which Well, it starts off like that. The trailer starts
Yeah.
off, you're sort of thinking, oh, it's a sequel to Bad Grandpa because it's Johnny Knoxville again in the old man makeup.
You know what they've done? They've done our version of John Cusack from
Yes.
Trim and Paddles of
Yes,
Destiny and
absolutely.
Billy versus the Machine,
Yep.
where they've taken a character from another film and then made an unrelated film using the same character.
Yeah.
I suppose in both films that person is the protagonist, the central feature.
Yeah.
But in this one, same character of the bad grandpa who was in the film Bad Grandpa.
Yeah.
Is now telling a story to his grandchild about his heyday back in the 70s when he ran an amusement park.
Yes. And the concept for this amusement park, so the amusement park is losing money, they're losing attendance, and so Johnny Knoxville has this grand idea to make an amusement park that has no bearing on safety whatsoever. So no effort put into safety, it's just all out, as intense as you can get for all of the rides and all of the amusements on there. Cue a montage sequence of Johnny's character kind of testing all the rides and getting thrown through walls and sliding off a water slide and being catapulted through the air and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I mean, the black screen with all the word tags in this one are real stunts, real action, real crazy, and that's where you get from. I'd heard recently that Johnny Knoxville had been taken to the emergency room 3 times.
I'm not surprised.
During the filming of this film.
He gets flung through a wall, and it's not CG.
And he's what, 46, 47?
He's 47 years old.
Yeah, I kind of like this, to be honest.
I do too.
Bad Grandpa was all right, but it was very much shot in that sort of mockumentary style, also sort of guerrilla shooting where he'd interact with real people and they weren't aware that he was Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
There was a series of loose sketches, sort of like, gotcha, you're on candid camera sort of
That's
sketches,
right,
loosely told as a road trip with a grandfather and grandson. This is much, much more scripted.
Yeah.
It feels like... Adventureland or the Way Back, which is the nostalgic summer, having worked in a low budget amusement park, and both of those films are great.
Yeah.
And this one has the same feel, and it's got a strict sort of strong narrative, a strong script. And then if you want to see a guy get a squirrel eat his nuts, or get launched with a catapult into the side of a barn, or fall off the edge, fall through like some cheap plastic, or collide midair, or swing on a rope that snaps and have him fall to the ground.
Yeah.
You get all that experience that you would get from a Jackass film, but you actually sort of get some sort of, I imagine, some sort of story. That
I kind of
over the top.
like it with the story. I love that it gives it context now, because I've never been a huge fan of Jackass. I've always found it a bit, I cringe too much watching it. But when there's a story behind it and you're kind of talking about a fictional character, and even though you can see that the stunts are real, it kind of just makes it a little bit nicer to watch. And anyway, this seems kind of fun, and it's kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, in this age of regulations and red tape.
Yes.
Why not?
And in an age of CG effects where that from the moment that he was supposed to be launched through the air, he was actually sort of pulled back and he's green screened out as some CG body that's ragdolled through a wall. And it's like, speaking of that, like, I'm sure Infinity Wars is just going to be full of it, green screen action garbage. Actually going, like how would you do that stunt in the real world? And like that didn't look fake at all. And it's like, no, it's because they actually launched him with a catapult into the side of a wall, and you can see his legs sticking out because he didn't go all the way through the wall. I'm like, that's a really weird choice from the director. I'm like, it wasn't a choice. It was just how the stunt played out. Yeah,
there's a sense in this film. So you do get the occasional film that says, we've all done real stunts and so on and so forth, but they're so carefully choreographed and orchestrated and so perfectly executed that you're like, but every single safety measure was clearly used in that. There was no danger whatsoever of this stunt going wrong. All credit to stunt people. I know that it's still dangerous. But this film feels like, so in the film itself, in the story, they've just sort of hobbled together a bunch of stuff to make these crazy new rides. And it also feels like that's exactly what the film directors did as well. Like, to make these stunts, we're like, we need to launch Johnny Knoxville through a wall. Okay, giant elastic band, like Coyote and Roadrunner style. And the angle, that's around about right. Should we make the whole wall, like, breakable? No, just the top half. Like, it's fine. We've done the calculations. He'll go straight through it. And obviously, no, he doesn't. But quite fun. Quite a fun little film, potentially. Yeah. Okay, trailer number 2. We're keeping the comedy action streak going with The Spy Who Dumped Me, starring Mila Kunis,
Kate McKinnon,
and other people whom I've now forgotten.
Justin Theroux,
Yep.
I think, plays the eponymous spy.
Yes.
It is a action comedy, as you mentioned, in the same vein as Spy or Spies Like Us,
Yep.
or what was the Leslie Nielsen one? The horror.
Naked Gun?
No. Spy Hard.
Spy Hard, yep.
Look, I mean, the same sort of thing's been done numerous times, and it's always a different recipe between action and comedy.
Yes.
It's like, Spy Hard is like 80% comedy and 20% action. This one looks like the other way around.
Yep.
The action sequences that they're doing in this are actually sort of the kind of action sequences you might actually find in a Bond film.
Yeah.
And then the premise is that Mila Kunis is dumped by her boyfriend, and that it turns out that he is a spy for the FBI, and she takes it upon herself to go after him or find out what's going on.
I think she's connected to him in some way via a USB device or something. She's got something,
whatever
that
happens to be,
whatever it happens to be, that the enemies actually want, and so her and Kate McKinnon are embroiled in a whole bunch of sequences where they're running away or being chased or being tortured and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so person with not formal spy training gets... What's the other one? The Man Who Knew Too Little is the Bill Murray one.
Yep.
It's just, like you said, it's been done a dozen times before, and I looked at this one, I'm just like, is it by the same guys that did Spy? Because like Melissa McCarthy and a whole bunch of the similar SNL kind of people are in that one as well.
Yep.
Different writer and director.
Yep.
Done by a female director who'd done a few other things, a play which got adapted into a screenplay.
Susanna Fogel is the director of The Spy Who Dumped Me, and done a lot of television work. And
I think the Wikipedia page says, this film tested so well with audiences, we've pushed back the release date. I mean, it's like, what? I mean, good marketing on Wikipedia?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that's the right place to be doing
there
it,
there must be something coming out when the film was meant to come out.
Infinity War has created a bubble in the release schedule, and literally everyone else has pushed their
just
release
out
dates
of the way.
back.
Just
clear space for Infinity. This is the only film anyone is going to the cinemas to watch.
I want to see what film is opening with Infinity Wars, or what films are opening with Infinity Wars.
They pushed Solo, didn't they? Or
I think they've pushed. Well, I mean, like Disney wouldn't release two films like that in one go, but I just want to see what other studios are trying to release in the same time that Infinity Wars is coming out. Because it's hopeless. You've got no chance whatsoever. But anyway, yes, that was The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Could be fun. I think
Could be fun,
I didn't enjoy Spy. I didn't enjoy where they derived the comedy from in that film.
No.
This one, again, potentially trying a little bit too hard to be funny. But as I said, the action sequences look really good.
Yeah.
And I do like Mila Kunis. She chooses great projects.
Yep.
And there seems to be some good people on board. So,
how it goes.
Excited to see how it goes.
Indeed. All right. Last film for the episode is a film called Tag.
Yeah.
Starring a huge ensemble cast. Jeremy Renner, Ed Helms,
John Hamm, Hannibal
Buress,
Isla Fisher.
Yep. Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
And some others as well in bit parts. But the concept for this is it's a group of friends, a group of guy friends, who have been playing a game of tag for 30 odd years.
Yeah, every May for 30 years, they all get together and they play a continuous game of tag.
Yeah. Which honestly is such a fun concept for a film.
It's not even a concept for a film. It's actually what a group of friends have been doing.
Yeah.
It hits pretty hard that it's based on a true story here.
Yep.
I'm sure like the premise here is that Jeremy Renner is so good at tag that he's never been tagged, and they're going to retire the game, and this month they're going all out to make sure that he gets tagged.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's actually the true story that it's based on. I'm sure it's just a group of friends that can play a continuous game of tag.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Or Jake Johnson as well. Speaking
yes.
of people we forgot.
Our old levity bot. He's been upgraded, dusted off. He's back in there, and he's providing levity in a film that's full of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure he needs to be there, but anyway.
And I suppose the other two were action comedies as well. There's a lot of action in this film.
There is, yeah.
Jeremy Renner, I think, dives through no less than 2 plate glass windows in the trailer, rolling down rooftops, using like Krav Maga moves to fend off John Hamm from tagging him.
He's got like Jeremy Renner's got this towel, and John Hamm's coming towards him with an outstretched hand, and in slow motion, he's kind of like wrapped the towel around his hand and diverted it away and sort of thrown him off. It looks very cool. It looks kind of fun. If you'd heard this concept on paper, or if you read it on paper, or heard it through a particular movie-based podcast, you might be inclined to think that this is kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I think the seriousness that they're going for with the action, in terms of the way it's shot and the way they've kind of choreographed it, kind of takes a silly concept and makes it fun.
Yeah.
And makes it kind of very watchable.
Hopefully. I mean, they like we said, a lot of really good people on board with this one. Good actors, good concept. The trailer looks all right, but said the same of a number of films that haven't panned out that way. I mean, this will hinge on a few things. I think the chemistry. A few of these guys have been in films together before, and like I quite like Hannibal Buress as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
Jake Johnson's dry humor can sort of work all right given the right context.
Yep.
So, I don't know if they all gel as an ensemble cast and all sort of works out.
It could be fun. This is interesting. We've come across 3 films that we would probably maybe see if they came up and we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go to the movies to see a lot of comedies nowadays.
No.
I mean, you go to the movies really to watch the big budget action that you can't really replicate that experience. But these are definitely the ones that you sort of see on a streaming service, and you go, hey, you know what? I've got an hour and a half that I need to sort of fill in, and this kind of looks a little bit fun. So sure, why not? And give it a roll.
I suppose that bodes well for a certain digital distribution platform,
streaming platform,
which has a bit of a dearth of comedic films, if I recall. We've only really got maybe 1 or 2 floating around in there.
Book Club was the only one that we actually sort of went comedy with, and
it
still turned very supernatural action-y, but there's comedy elements to it. So.
Very much so. All right, then. I think we're going to have to take these 3 films and pull something from it that we like and create our own version of it. But before we do that, it's time to head into the green room.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
Brisk. All right. Now, I chose the film last week, so the duty is therefore yours this week.
So the options are a real stunt coming-of-age nostalgia film, possibly.
Yep.
Like, coming-of-age is probably not the right choice there, because even Johnny Knox...
nostalgic.
Yeah, nostalgia back in the 70s. Yeah. Life was great sort of film.
A period piece, I guess.
We have a spy action comedy.
Yep.
And we have a childhood friends in their adult lives action comedy.
To be honest, these all sound like movie film studio pitches.
This is the biggest problem here, is that I can absolutely see us having made Action Point. I can absolutely see us having made Tag.
Yep.
I think maybe 5 years ago, The Spy Who Dumped Me may have been the film we made if we watched the trailer for Spy.
Probably.
So it does make the choice quite tough.
Yep.
As always, I think we'll draw upon elements of all of them.
Yes.
But the one that really grabs me is Tag.
Great.
And I like the idea of having an ensemble group of childhood friends.
Yep.
I like the idea of picking an obscure / slightly stupid childhood game.
Yep.
And sort of bringing that forward and seeing how that works. In fact, I actually just had a great idea.
Yep.
Why don't we tell the story in 3 parts?
Yep.
So we tell it in 1992.
Yep.
And then we also tell it in 2012.
Yep.
And then we also tell it in 2042.
I had this exact same idea, slightly modified though, because I really wanted to take the example that Boyhood set, and actually film it with the same group of actors over the years. So we might not be able to go back to 1990 to the 1990s, as you mentioned, unless we get our time travel technology working again.
Yeah, that's owned by
it's owned by
Sydney Down Under Films.
Whatever.
Yeah,
they can keep it. Well, what if we start a new game now with a brand new set of kids?
Yeah,
and then follow them for the next
30 years.
30 years or so.
Yeah.
Like Boyhood only went 18 years.
I think it was 12 years. I think it was 6 to 18 or something like that.
All right, so we'll have to trump what he did in that film. I've forgotten the director's name now.
Richard Linklater.
And just go longer.
Yeah.
And obviously we're shooting it as a comedy, not as a drama, fact of life, fly on the wall kind of thing that Boyhood was.
You know what's really great about this?
Yep.
Is that like we don't actually have to really write jokes or like now.
Yeah.
Where like the jokes will evolve over
time.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How long's the film?
I mean,
an hour and a half is probably long for a comedy.
Yeah.
Like 90-minute, like normally comedies are anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes.
I think we keep it tight. I mean, we're going to be shooting 30 years worth of footage.
So it's 3 minutes per year.
Yeah.
Sure, like...
So we're going to shoot every year as well? Because I don't think they even did that for Boyhood. I think for Boyhood, they just shot once every, like, 5 or 7 years or something, and they shot a whole bunch of it and then sort of cobbled it all together. So we're going to shoot, like, every year.
I like the every year thing, 'cause, like, especially with Tag.
Yeah.
Like the stipulation of the game is that they played in the same month every year.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of doing the same thing there.
Yep.
Maybe we don't set it over the course of 30 years. Realistically, we just need to trump whatever Linkletter did by like a year or two.
By a year or two, yeah.
That's all we really need to do.
Yep.
I think the concept will probably be... I mean, in Australia, we don't do summer camps.
No.
I don't even really know what it means. But in America, there's a big thing where they all go to summer camp.
Yep.
And maybe that's what we do. It's the same group of friends meeting up for a month of summer camp. Mm-hmm. And then in their teenage years, they are the group counselors of the summer camp. And then we do the final stage of the movie where they move into their adult lives.
Yep.
And they use the game as a means of... staying together.
Yep.
And what I like about this as well, Boyhood, whilst shot over the course of time, was told as a linear narrative. We can start at the end.
Start at the end, yeah.
And then when we do flashbacks, it's flashbacks to those same people from 10 years ago.
Yes.
I think that'd be just like ridiculously good.
Absolutely.
People will be like, geez, they got some actors who look like those kids. No, we shot this over 10 years, so our flashbacks would be accurate.
Exactly. I love this idea. The summer camp thing does sound a little bit like, have you seen Wet Hot American Summer?
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I've seen of it.
Okay. Okay, so there's a kind of a crossover there in terms of the summer camp ideal.
Yep. I mean, there's so many summer camp American movies.
Do we make it more Australian then? Do we set it on like a beach instead?
Yeah, okay.
Like a summer getaway at the...
This like the same 4 parents own holiday houses on a beach somewhere, and every summer they go to the beach, and these kids get to hang out, and they're only friends for sort of like 1 month of the year, but every year that they can remember since they were kids.
Ah, brilliant. This is very heartfelt and emotional, and it's sort of hitting all those right notes. So now we need to inject
the action comedy. So like we mentioned, like Tag uses the mechanic of a game of tag.
Yeah. Is
there something similar, some sort of similar childhood game which we can carry through, or similar, like, I mean...
Or do we make one?
I mean, we could like it was not last week, the week before we did Billy versus the Machine. We talked about I mean, we made up sports from childhood. I kind of like, for me, it's feeling a little Stand By Me, like
a little bit, yeah.
Sort of like there's a shared experience, not necessarily a game, but like
a journey,
not finding a dead body on a railway track, but something like that. Like it's got to be something that they can repeat every year.
Okay, as a kind of quest. I mean, this is also shades of the Goonies in here too.
Having shades of the Goonies, I had this idea that if it's a beach holiday resort, I like the idea that there's like an island out just like off the coast of where they're staying. And they I don't know, they have a boat and they go out there and then they explore the island every year for their childhood. I'm like, it's creeping into being a bit of a horror thriller again, because like I still feel as though there's I still know what you did last summer element to it as well.
Well, then here's what we do, right? We take the boat part of it. So what if this island has always been the MacGuffin for these kids, right? So here's the way the film starts like this. All 4 adults have houses on that island.
Yes.
Right? But the whole film is about the journey to actually get to that island. And it all started as they were kids building their own like boats individually to race each other to that island, but never ever making it there.
I'm feeling a bit Gattaca, how they swim out into the ocean and then like, you know, eventually Ethan Hawke gives up and has to swim back.
I love how we're pulling out all these highbrow comedy examples here.
I had an idea that why not every year that we go back and flash back to, it's a different genre film. So,
Yeah.
like, we can do I Still
Yeah,
Know What
yeah.
You Did Last Summer.
Oh, for sure.
That they flash back to. We can do a Goonies exploring
Yeah.
the caves. We can
This
do a
is-
Stand By Me, they
Oh,
discover
yes.
a dead body. And so we, like, every year we go back and film with these kids.
Yeah.
We film like a different 3-minute
yeah.
genre film, and so as adults, as they're reminiscing about their childhood,
Yeah.
it's just flashing back to.
But that's it, because like as an adult, when you're reminiscing about stories, you always have the scary stories or the fun, exciting stories or the triumphant stories and so on and so forth. They could all be different films, different genres and different feels. It's perfect.
And as they grow older, so
Yeah.
like the genres age up as well. So
Yeah.
the Goonies is like the 10 to 12-year-old adventure,
yeah.
but when they hit 16, 17,
Yep.
suddenly it's the I Still Know What You Did, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Scream murder thing. I'm not sure.
Even better. You know how every year, or every film season, there's always a new genre or a genre that sort of a whole bunch of different films are doing.
Yes.
So we can just do one of those
Exactly.
every year. So in 2022, who knows what type of film we're going to be watching at that point? Could be like a choose your own adventure 3D glasses smell-o-vision thing.
Exactly.
We'll do it.
And so the nostalgia factor comes in because when people go and watch the films, they're just like, oh, right,
Yeah, yeah.
I remember back in 2019 where it was like Alf made a comeback and it was Alf and E.T. and those
Yeah, yeah.
extraterrestrials befriending families. And so and then like, the next, when they're flashbacks, it's like, oh, right, and in 2035 where... I don't even know where all color was drained out of film inexplicably
yeah.
due to a virus on the great interwebs, and so all of that's in black and white. It's
It's our film is a beautiful time capsule of different cinematic styles. So, I mean, Linklater with Boyhood did the whole. I mean, obviously, shooting in the past, it was all the fashion and the things that were part of pop culture back then. No, we're all about just what happens in cinema. So if there's been an absolute surplus in sports-related biopics, yeah, of course we're going to throw that in there into our film. I don't know how,
yeah.
but we will.
Yeah, I really like the idea of media changing in that way as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah.
you were saying, sort of like 3D virtual reality
Yep.
sense sort of stuff.
Yep.
So
Maybe one year every film was just animated.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
it could
okay,
be.
we'll just have to do
Absolutely
an
could
animated
be.
section for our film. This is going to cost so much money.
It's not though.
No?
Because if we put money in the account now, it's just going to accrue interest over the next 10 years.
yeah, and then we'll be able to pull it out for the final year.
I'm fairly sure that's how investing works.
We'll probably be able to buy the island on that last year.
It's true, yeah.
And then shoot the last 3 minutes of the film
Yeah.
with the fully grown up actors.
It's true. So
Alright.
the issue that I see here is, casting is going to be.
Ooh.
I mean, we can't cast regular people.
No, we can't cast regular actors, no.
And I don't think we did with Billy versus the Machine is take kids of actors. I legitimately think we just do a whole bunch of unknowns like they did with the kid from Boyhood, because otherwise people cotton on
Yeah.
and
See, I have a better idea. I think we need to take inspiration from a film we've taken inspiration from before, The Truman Show,
yep.
and just adopt 4 babies. Like, as a studio, we become parents, we adopt 4, children, and we grow them.
I'd rather adopt for 8-year-olds.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel as though they need to be, realistically, they need to be 30 at the point that they're reminiscing about their childhoods.
Yep.
Ideally older, but sometimes we don't have that much
yep.
time.
So get them at around about 7 or 8,
yeah,
or 4 kids. We'll adopt all of them.
legally adopt all of them, and
Yep.
do we not tell them? Like Truman Show, not tell them? No, I think they.
I think we can tell them.
You've just
I've opened up a
exponentially.
huge kettle of fish here.
Yeah.
I think we tell them. It would. I don't want to go through. Because what if they become self-aware?
But the
And
issue,
then they wanna
the
leave.
issue here is that with Boyhood, Richard
Yep.
Linklater only needed that kid to act for like a week out of the year.
True.
And then his actual parents paid for food and boarding and education.
This is true, actually.
You're suggesting that we take on that entire financial burden for 4 kids.
For only 3 minutes a year.
Yeah.
For 15 years. Yeah, you're right. It's a bit overkill.
I don't think we have the budget for it.
We probably don't. No. We'd have to sell off a lot of assets, I think, for that. Okay, we won't do that. But yeah, we'll go out and find 4 kids, 8 years old, who we can sort of mold in the movie film studio's image. and then give them back to their parents once the filming is up.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, the only thing then that I need to know about this film is what's the reason that they're all reminiscing. If we're starting in the present and then flashing back.
Yep.
I've never seen the film The Big Chill.
Neither have I.
But I feel as though people have come together over the death of one of the characters.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of like that idea. Maybe one of the four friends has died.
Do we need to? Do they actually need to have died, or is this just in the film story itself?
That's information that I'm not comfortable disclosing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of them's not there.
I was actually listening to something today, and they were talking. It was an actor from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
And they were saying that people were acting a little bit strange around him at the start of the season.
Yep.
And they had meetings with like the showrunner and said, "Oh, here's your character's arc for the season."
Yep.
And then like they were doing like a read through for episode 6. And then it's just like, and then they look at the deer carcass really strange. He's like, why are they looking at it strange? And the writer who was like running through it was just like, I'm not sure. And just sort of walked away. And then like the director came in and had a sit down with him saying, yeah, you've got 4 more weeks on set. Your character's dead. I think it would have been much more humane if they just killed him. No, obviously for legal reasons, the kids all survive. They all survive. Real life.
Hey, look, we're not adopting them.
No,
it's they're not ours. They're the parents' responsibility. Okay, so one of the characters dies, and it's the 3 of them on that island that they now own. And they're reminiscing about how they came to be. Maybe they're getting buried on the island.
But we don't say that. Like the last shot is it panning back.
Yep.
And they've buried their friend on the island.
Okay.
So up until that point, you'd think it's just like they've just all got together for a funeral.
Yep.
But as we pull away, there's like, oh no, they reach that goal from their childhood. That no matter what, alien encounter friend, Alf style, Mac and me style, buddy came along, no matter what sort of, Indiana Jones type adventure, no matter what
historical biopic, political intrigue,
political intrigue, newspaper printers, publishing government
a ton of film that Shia LaBeouf is in, just like 2006 when he was in every film. That's the other thing. Like, if an actor's like really hot one year and they're just in a whole bunch of different films, we have to cast them in our film.
That's true. I mean, and that way we can still have like by the time 30 years has rocked around, I can't remember how long it's going to be shot.
Yeah.
We'll keep shooting until we find the film in there somewhere.
We'll keep shooting until one of them actually dies.
That's not a bad idea.
Just naturally.
And that way it's not on us.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything.
Exactly.
They passed away from natural causes.
Yep.
And then these 3 people who'd been actually shooting together every year since they were kids actually does come together for the funeral.
Yep.
And we don't even, this is the brilliant thing about this. Like, these kids don't even need to be good actors.
No.
Because the scenarios that we're putting them in
are just
like, we're just getting that raw, natural emotion from
Absolutely, yeah. Who cares what kind of fantastical worlds they've been comped into via CGI?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much if we're doing any genre from like the last 5 years, we just shoot them on a green screen,
yeah.
And just whatever background we want to put in from there. Do we want to come up with
we're gonna have to come up with a name.
Characters?
Oh, characters, yeah,
or personalities for those?
Yep.
Or
I mean, like the Stand By Me template kind of fits quite well. So you've got the brusque kind of weirdo who is lights fires and does all that kind of stuff.
Who's this one? Like, is that River Phoenix?
No.
Corey Feldman or
Corey Feldman's character, who's kind of like the lone gunman of the group.
But isn't he like Big Mouth, just doesn't keep talking? Or am I thinking he's the mouth in the Goonies?
You're thinking of the mouth in the Goonies, yeah.
Okay, sure.
No, because he's in this one, he's like, there's a scene in Stand By Me where he's standing on the railway tracks and there's a train bearing down on him. He's just like, I'm just going to stay here. And he's like, I'm so tough and I'm so big. And then all the other kids have to pull him out of the way. So you've got that kid. You've got the kind of like stoic, heroic kid. That's the River Phoenix character. You've got the plain kind of more shy one that acts as the kind of main protagonist.
Yeah, so the Will Wheaton
character. And then you've got the fat kid.
Yeah, I actually like in the same way that Jerry O'Connell was a really tubby kid, and then like a super buff adult.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see the same
transformation. Yeah.
All right, okay, that's all right. We can steal the that sort of
We'll do
template.
some DNA testing, I think, on these kids. So you can just go to like a
Yeah.
website, sign away for like a DNA kit. We'll get like, as part of the audition process for these kids, they'll just have to do a swab.
Just
and
a DNA swab.
DNA swab. We'll see what their genes are looking like, and if we're like, yeah, that's looking like this kid will be fat, but they'll make a transformation into buff, a la
Jerry
Jerry
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Great, we'll cast him.
This kid looks like he has maybe like a congenital heart problem and may pass away at 35 instead of all the way at 72 because we don't have time to wait 72 years for one of these kids to die. That's a little bit morbid. But, the miracle of modern medicine means that we have the DNA power to do this.
By like 2035, who knows what the medical landscape's going to look like? Those kids may live forever.
I mean, this is
we might be dead before
a very
we get to finish
real
shooting.
problem. Or maybe then they come together over the death of the two film producers that had brought them together to film
to finish the film, and then they're standing over our graves
exactly.
on the island.
On the island.
Yeah, great.
I kind of like that idea a little bit more. It's less suggestive that we may have murdered kids, and this way we never have to watch this film, which could very well be a massive train wreck.
And to make things like perfectly authentic as well, it will be our bodies being buried in the sand on that island as
Absolutely.
well. And that way we can bring back the streak of us casting our skeletons in our films by literally having our corpses buried in sand with our actors standing over us. I love this.
All right.
Fantastic. All right.
One last thing.
All we need is a name for this film. Now, name's going to be quite tough because we can either go for something... again, in the Stand By Me mold, Boyhood, very kind of emotional or nostalgic or quite nice and fluffy. Or we need to go for something more comedic. The kind of game night, book club.
I like the Boyhood mold.
Yep.
It's sort of like it says something. This is like a period of life. Even I don't know. I don't know where to go with this one. So mine be something like friendship.
Friendship.
So like if you're going with Boyhood, you're taking a concept of like this is.
What about like the good ship friendship?
The good ship. That's a really really horrible name. I don't know. There's.
I like where you're going with friendship, though.
I think friendship and like the island possibly has to have something to do with it.
Yeah.
If that's a goal that they're trying to get to the island through some sort of ship.
Yep.
Then there's a few like the Bridge to Wiseman's Cove or Bridge to Terabithia.
Yep.
Or
two completely different films as far as I'm aware.
I mean, I think they're both like young adult books that I
Sure.
was forced to read during
Okay.
high school. But like it's got this sense of like there is a way of getting to a place, which I kind of like the concept of.
Over the River Kwai.
Yeah, there's bridges everywhere. Bridge of Spies.
Yep. Okay, so bridge.
But is there a bridge? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe in the future, maybe there is a bridge being constructed as well over time. So we're constructing a bridge to the island, whilst there's like they try and swim out there one year, they try and build a raft one year, and eventually like it's a time lapse of this sort of bridge being constructed.
Great.
And for some reason that takes 30 years. I'm not sure how long bridges normally take.
I also love that like every year that they come back to build the bridge, their like expertise in building that bridge grows. So it starts off as the most rickety piece of crap.
So
they're
building and rebuilding the bridge every time they go out.
By the time it gets to the end, it's like this beautiful like steel pylon concrete backed suspension bridge.
I think one of them like must get a job as like a civil engineer or something like that.
But like the bridge is in like 30 different stages.
Are we dictating the career path of these kids
Yes,
already?
we are. Yes,
Absolutely.
we are. We will use that DNA testing to see if, what their eyesight is like and manual dexterity and I don't know who knows what these DNA
career
tests...
predisposition.
Why not?
So long as one of them is civil or mechanical, civil engineer is Bridges. So,
all right. So the bridge to Friendship Island. There we go.
I was thinking Bridges of Madison County just because I'm still trying to come up with actual building bridges.
Building bridges.
Or even just bridges. Or
the bridge.
Bridges Jones's Diary.
Bridge of Friends.
See,
Bridging Friends.
The bridge, like, sounds too much like a thriller.
Yeah. Well, one year it might be a thriller.
And Bridges sort of sounds like a really bad sappy romance.
Bridging?
Um,
Bridging the gap?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like even like the Tree of Life has
Yep.
kind of that cadence that like the bridge of or the bridge over or can we name the island and have it the bridge to something island?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not Friendship Island because that just sounds stupid. My other thought here was that every year that we make the film, we call the film something different.
Okay.
And the only stipulation is that it has to have the word bridge in it.
Okay, great.
And that way, like we're doing with so much of the film, we pass off the responsibility
yeah.
to future Isaac and future AJ.
Yeah.
And so like maybe you know like how it's in like Mad Libs, there's like the underline to represent missing words.
Yep.
It's missing word, bridge, missing word, and like every time it flashbacks, we like wipe out the two words either side and we replace it to say the genre
hang on,
film.
so it's missing word bridge. We're not going to do the bridge?
No. It's missing word, bridge, missing word, and every year we have to come up with something that fits that format that describes
All right, okay.
the type of film that we're doing.
I love it. That's a fantastic idea. And that actually works quite well. So in this film, when you're watching it, every 3 minutes there's going to be a new opening title with the new name of the film and a complete change in aesthetics, in genre, in style, everything. It's just going to change every 3 minutes, but we're still going to use the same cast.
Possibly not every 3 minutes. Every time we jump back to the present and one of the characters starts retelling a story,
okay.
Then it jumps back and it's a new film with a new bridge title sort of...
Yep. I love it. So we'll shoot for, let's say, 15 years.
15 years. So long as it's longer than Linklater. That is a long...
It's quite a long... Actually, I think he did shoot for 15 years, so we might have to shoot for like 20.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, like the length of the film is now determined by the length of our lives. Because the moment... I mean, I'm fairly sure it's preordained that we are both going to die at the same time.
Probably,
on the same day by the same...
It's actually contractually obligated.
It is.
It's part of the contract I signed when I joined the studio.
And so, I mean, the actual length of the shooting will be dictated by how long we end up living.
Okay. So it could be a lifelong project for us.
It could be. It could very well be.
Yep. Excellent. All right. I think that's a wrap on missing word, bridge. Missing word.
There's got to be a better way of saying it. What did they... I think in Mad Libs they say blank.
Yeah.
Blank bridge,
blank. Wasn't it two?
Oh, it could be. I think it gives us a bit more scope.
Yeah.
So
blank bridge, blank.
Blank bridge, blank.
Great. Love it. I think that's a wrap.
I think it is.
Housekeeping, as per usual. We are on the internet. We are at moviefilmstudios.net, where you can find all of our previous episodes, some bios of us, and our Mephizzawidditor page, which lists every single film that we've ever created on this here podcast, including plot synopses and our cast as well for each of these films. We're on Facebook, where we post emoji clues as to what trailers we've watched in next week's episode. How are you going to do with these ones?
Who knows? I'm looking at them. Action point. Like there's a clear point.
Yep.
Spy who dumped me could be done.
Yeah.
Tag people running away from each other or towards each other.
Yep. We
had a lukewarm response to some of my clues this week. I'll say that I had a fist and 6 gemstones.
Yep.
And I'm like, Infinity Wars. They're trying to get 6 gemstones into a fist.
Is it 6?
It is.
Oh, okay.
I googled this.
You googled it. Okay.
I
thought it was 4.
I thought it was 5, and apparently it's 6.
Okay.
No one seemed to get that one.
Someone got
Adrift,
yeah.
Like right away, I'm like, wave, boat, wave. I'm like, that's a bit obscure because no one knows of it. And like, literally 5 minutes later, someone's like, is it Adrift? I'm like, yeah, it is. And then the two biggest films, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yep.
Thumbs up for Fantastic. A whole bunch of beasts, and then a picture of an arrow pointing to a map. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. No one got it at all. So we'll see how it goes this week.
Well, look, we're not trying to make it easy, so
no, but we are trying to get people engaged.
We would like to get people engaged. Look, if you just on that, if you know anyone that might enjoy the madcap antics of 2 Hollywood movie producers and want to hear it in audio form, please feel free to send them to our website or send them to our Facebook page or send them to iTunes or to Podbean or wherever they get podcasts, because they're missing out.
They are. They're absolutely missing out on the fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or maybe people are deliberately not telling their
Possibly,
friends
yeah.
so they have less competition with the emoji clues. I think that's probably why.
That's absolutely what's happening. Okay. And we're also on Twitter. If you like what looks like a bot posting to a Twitter page, then please follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Look out in the not too distant future for some new and exciting things happening on YouTube as well.
Yes.
We should be putting up some stuff there.
Putting up some little tasters, some little samples, little morsels of
So,
of
I mean, again,
goodness.
if you say, I listen to this podcast, I quite enjoy it. If you want a sample of it, then we have somewhere to point you to, to have little...
Yeah. Because, like, imagine this way: if you're at a nice restaurant and you're having a nice meal, and you're like, "Oh, this is really great. You should try it." You don't just pick up your entire plate and dump it on someone else. That's not really good practice. You want to give them a taste. You give them a little forkful of it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, that sounds delicious. I think I'll get my own," and then they can.
So I thought you were going to go with, at the ice cream places, how they give you the little thing.
Yeah.
I never used, so to me, people are like, can I try the choc caramel swirl?
Yeah.
And they give you a little taster. Oh, can I try the mint choc chip? I'm like, a little say, can I try the ramen rice? I'm like, just pick it and deal with it. If you make a decision and it's bad, then you live with it.
That's right. If you decide to listen to Movie Film Studios, you have no choice but to
Exactly.
continue listening to it.
By my mentality, if you do download the podcast, put it in your ears and listen to it, and you have to power through it.
The whole thing, yeah. So, no tasters for anyone.
No tasters. No, I think the tasters is a great idea. I think people abuse the system a little bit too much.
Probably,
and,
yeah.
End up holding up the
absolutely do.
line.
Yep.
Especially with the podcast line. People, queuing up to listen to us.
The worst are the people that have the tasters and then just leave and don't order anything.
Yeah.
So if you do that to our podcast, we will know.
We will.
know.
Having said that, it will increase our viewer count on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And I think there's some way of monetizing that, like 0.001 cent per view or something.
Absolutely. In the same way that a certain sewer construction company has monetized a certain pirated movie that they've put on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, all that remains is to thank you once again for listening. I've been Isaac.
And I've been AJ.
Roll credits.
March winds and April